Добрый вечер.
Здравствуйте, товарищи.
And the first thing they did was go in and loot the whole country. They took all the money, and the result was the new Soviet empire had no operating capital, and they couldn't tax anybody because they had murdered all the people who owned anything.
The people who rewrote we started off with the Articles of Confederation. It was actually a secret convention of Masons in Philadelphia, and they rewrote the Constitution to create a federal government.
Did what they did, but absolutely, instead of shying away from it, we have to explicitly educate people to confront their own misconceptions.
There really is a denial of reality by center-left media. We have entered non-reality, and we are a thermonuclear nation with responsibilities to the entire planet. You too have responsibilities to the planet. This is a thermonuclear situation. Yes, your history has been denied, just as my history is denied. Just as everybody who understands Howard Zinn's history has been denied.
We are in the Kafka world. Who is in the castle? We don't know, because the president said he didn't know.
Now here's a little test for you. Who is the first who will tell me what is visibly scientifically wrong?
From the first individual who was sacrificed on an altar for the good of the tribe, to the heretics and dissenters burned at the stake for the good of the populace or the glory of God, to the millions exterminated in slave labor camps for the good of the race or of the proletariat. It is this collectivist morality that has served as justification for every dictatorship and every atrocity, past or present.
Wrong.
But it's no less ridiculous than nothing exploding and becoming something. If you look at it objectively, they try to make you believe that the idea that a supreme being, a creator, created it. It was fake. It was fake. It was absolutely fake.
I think in the interim, at least if we learned about each other, we would be less likely to want to kill each other.
Well, when you say it's gone. One generation is all it takes. So I can tell you that, a generation ago, people had said there's no way that people would allow gay marriage, okay? And slavery, essentially a generation got rid of it. And so all you have to do, change is always one generation away. And we have the children, and exactly. So if we can plant the seeds of doubt in our children, religion will go away in a generation, or at least largely go away. And that's what I think we have an obligation to do.
An illusion it will be, so large, so vast, it will escape their perception. Those who will see it will be thought of as insane. We will create separate fronts to prevent them from seeing the connection between us. We will behave as if we are not connected to keep the illusion alive. Our goal will be to accomplish one drop at a time so as to never bring suspicion upon ourselves. This will also prevent them from seeing the changes as they occur. We will always stand above the relative field of their experience, for we know the secrets of the Absolute. We will work together always, and will remain bound by blood and secrecy. Death will come to he who speaks.
Why does anyone, for a single moment, believe anyone who uses language in a mangled form like that?
I heard Marian Anderson do it. I heard Jose Feliciano sing his Puerto Rican version, and Jimi Hendrix, and Whitney Houston.
Yep.
And the idea is, if you want to get rid of the culture of this country, you're going to need laws and rules. You can kiss your freedom goodbye.
So why don't we just listen?
Right? It doesn't matter. The key point is the culture of the United States of America. And as I said recently, you can kiss your freedom goodbye. And what I love about this country is that I'm absolutely free to burn a flag in protest.
Tending to do the opposite. We will use our knowledge of science and technology in subtle ways so they will never see what is happening. We will use soft metals, aging accelerators, and sedatives in food and water, also in the air. They will be blanketed by poisons everywhere they turn. The soft metals will cause them to lose their minds. We will promise to find a cure from many of our fronts, yet we will feed them more poison. The poisons will be absorbed through their skin and mouths, and they will destroy their minds and reproductive systems. From all this, their children will be born dead, and we will conceal this information. The poisons will be hidden in everything that surrounds them and what they drink, eat, breathe, and wear. We must be ingenious in dispensing the poisons, for they can see far. We will teach them that the poisons are good, with fun images and musical tones. Those they look up to will help. We will enlist them to push our poisons. They will see our products being used in films and will grow accustomed to them and will never know their true effect.
This, I believe, has come at the exact right time so that we awaken.
Assume all of your worst nightmares are true, and I have zero desire to do it. You began around a system of truths that were excluded from the gated institutional narrative. That was your seed corn. Assume that you have an incredibly talented intelligence complex that indulge your wildest crazies. Donald Trump, Justice Roberts is part of a pedophile conspiracy.
Right.
Go full QAnon. Let me tell you something that I'm very, very clear on. Donald Trump, as a puppet of Vladimir Putin, and decided that it had to win the election through fraud. The Supreme Court pretends to be 9 druids that can divine the truth by taking on black robes and speaking in Latin.
Offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities.
Their minds will belong to us, and they will do as we say. If they refuse, we shall find ways to implement mind-altering technology into their lives. We will use fear as our weapon. We will establish their governments and establish opposites within. We will own both sides. We will always hide our objective, but carry out our plan. We will perform the labor. They will perform the labor for us, and we shall prosper from their toil. Our families will never mix with theirs. Our blood must be pure always, for it is the way. We will make them kill each other when it suits us. We will keep them separated from the oneness by dogma and religion. We will control all aspects of their lives and then tell them what to think and how. We will guide them kindly and gently, letting them think that they are guiding themselves. We will foment anonymously between them through our factions.
You see, Adolf Hitler was not the first, nor was George Bush, to fantasize about this hideous idea of totalitarian government enslaving an entire globe through mind manipulation. What Adolf Hitler began in his adamant research on, he had the largest number of human subjects from which to work.
World War II research, there was still a big interest in behavior modification, interrogation, truth drugs, Manchurian candidates, unwitting spies, chemical weapons, and biological weapons. Especially the behavioral modification and interrogations and truth drugs, there was a big brain trust.
Everything and everyone was a target.
When a light shall shine among them, we shall extinguish it by ridicule or death, whatever suits us best. We will make them rip each other's hearts apart and kill their own children. We will accomplish this by using hate as our ally, anger as our friend. The hate will bind them totally, and never shall they see that from their conflicts we will emerge as the rulers. They will be busy killing each other. They will bathe in their own blood and kill their neighbors for as long as we see fit. We will benefit greatly from this, for they will not see us, for they cannot see us. We will continue to prosper from their wars and their deaths. We shall repeat it over and over until our ultimate goal is accomplished. We will continue to make them live in fear and anger through images and sound.
Why does anyone, for a single moment, believe anyone who uses language in a mangled form like that?
This is amazing. If that's true, and there's no purpose, there's no meaning to anything, then our owners can do whatever they want with us.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
I didn't know. On the other hand, it's not true.
Because this is what I think, it's the truth. And we recognize the truth when we hear it. And we feel it. And this...
It had reverberations everywhere.
Lying to the American people.
It exploded. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of people looking at it. Not even that, probably. And nobody was talking about it.
books and feature films were seized by the government.
I have learned that anything the senses experience can be synthetically reproduced by endgame advanced technology.
And everybody, it's my way or the highway, and there's no... What?
If you take an action where the cost to the individual is so minimal that he, in effect, won't miss it, and someone else is benefited by it, fine, there's no argument against that whatsoever. It's very nice. But that has nothing to do with the question of people are dying right now in hospitals.
The best way to promote social cooperation and a prosperous society is not through top-down centralized control, but to remove the clamps of control and to let individuals make their own choices with respect to their own lives.
It's a joke. It was meant to fool people in 1960s.
You know, we had the Great Society, which promised war.
You see in a kind of pyramid shape. Yeah, you have a horizon at your eye level, and everything above the horizon will go down into the horizon.
A mind matrix is basically a system for thinking. A mind matrix is behind the mechanics of what is served to one's perception. Basically, the mind has an operating system. Everyone has a natural mind matrix. A mind control matrix is taking over a person's thinking and setting them up with a synthetic mind matrix.
You know,
like Michelangelo.
Yeah, so that we eventually would know that this was his work. Yeah, I did this.
Okay, but wait.
What dimming a memory is making a memory less likely to fire, but it is not completely blocked off from firing. The shadow government likes methods that are as covert as possible.
I got pushback from people that were like, so you want to give your hard-earned money, more of it away to the government, and you think the government's going to solve this? My perspective was, if you just looked at it this way.
A mind control matrix is how they structure the thinking within a fully transhuman person. Feelings, emotions, beliefs, as well as external environmental factors are used to keep one trapped in a certain mind control matrix. Manchurian candidates are in lifelong created mind control matrices, for example.
No, these are the vast majorities of the populations. These so-called oligarchies are the merchants, the bankers, the commercial interests, and
the royal family of England.
I think this is one of the biggest problems.
The government shall provide for the general welfare of the United States.
And quite frankly, we've got to fight the kleptocrats in center, left, center, right, Wokistan and Magistan, and get back to the business of innovation. I'll try to give you a history that you probably didn't know, involving a through line that is incredibly simple, that explains why everything is falling apart, and try to use as few assumptions as possible.
And so, as I say, they murdered the richest man in the world, took all of his money.
See, here's the problem, I think. It's the greed of one group and the willingness to gamble with other people's lives and the power and establishment in the government.
And the old Viking, blue-eyed, blonde aristocrats, more or less, were pushed into the background, or they intermarried with the black nobility. And this is what they do.
Disney and NASA have worked very closely together. Disney worked with NASA on the moon.
Altogether by occupations, wars, trade agreements, and enforced economic rules.
Any questions?
Political parties, of course, the governments, the military and security services, the trade unions, youth and student organizations, women's groups, religion, cultural and professional societies, and in a very big way, the public information media.
Well, look, you want to have a next level conversation. We're not going to be able to just, I don't want to have Dick Tarzan, talking about Jane, you good, you bad, all that kind of stuff.
Right, okay.
done through infiltrating or recruiting people, indigenous people, inside these organizations, giving them money for the organization, but also paying them a salary as a control factor. Control is a word that every CIA trainee learns early on. It means long-range control of the natural resources, the labor, and the markets of other countries, but it also means control over individuals. And those personal salaries are a control factor.
Things go down, and the world economy grinds to a halt. Thousands of people lose their job, foreclosures all over the place. So they come in and they pump billions of dollars into the organizations that sunk the fucking ship in the first place.
And that's a huge issue, and that's the thing that's got to stop.
I rest my case. Thank you.
Some of the more immutable from dislodging mind control matrices have been created over a long period of time in a target's lifetime.
That might sound really crazy, but if you look at the look out on a day that's got broken cloud, you'll see that the sun rays will come out at an angle. Most people have seen this. The rays come down at angles. There's no way that light can come that far and spread out like that. Now, if you follow those light rays, you'll see exactly where the sun is. And as I said, it works out to be about 3,100 miles. Now, if that's the case, and the sun is circling over this flat plane, yeah, it's light.
And many of us have been looking at these.
Those guys, disciplined, organized, they forced, I believe the New York Times wouldn't run their findings, and they forced the Washington Post to have to investigate us. Right now we need a redo of the Church and Pike committees so that they don't have much time left on this. And we are going to have to figure out how to unseat them legally. I apologize for the word legal, but it really does matter. What we need to do is to recognize that Magistan and Wokeistan are two cults founded on reality.
Because it was financed with drug money from Colombia.
There is so much to this. As I said, if you start looking and asking questions about the very basic things, you'll find that the answers you were given as a child just do not make sense.
By telling their secrets, their power is eroding.